we're almost done with this area. Just a little more. And near the end of the last video, I said I had something to say about Throw and Sog that I forgot to say last time, and it's the fact that they are almost version exclusive. And when I say almost, don't worry, they can be found in the opposite version. Well, Throw corresponds to the white version, and Sog corresponds to the black version, normally. However, you can find the opposite one. You remember the shaking grass we can find Audino in? Well, depending on the area you're in, you can also find some other Pokemon. And in this area, you can find either Throw in black or Sog in white. However, we're talking about a very, very rare encounter here. We're talking about like 5%, so on average, you're going to need around 20 shaking grass spots to find a Throw or a Sog. Note that I said on average. You could get lucky and find it on the first try, or it could take you 100. That's how luck works. Anyway, the main point of interest in this area is the challenge rock that she's talking about right now. It's right here, and this is why I need a fighting type Pokemon. This is because when you use a fighting type Pokemon on it, a piece of the rock breaks away, and you get a star piece. Now you can come back here every day and get an insane amount of star pieces if you're dedicated enough. Now there are two things you can do with star pieces. You can sell them for money, which I don't recommend really, or you can meet an NPC later on that's going to trade your star pieces for PP ups, which you can once again do an infinite amount of times. So, yeah, this is why I don't really recommend selling them, because PP ups are really rare and coveted items. So, oh wow, did you see that? The plank of wood was in the air when I hit it, and it just sort of stayed frozen in mid-air. It looked sort of weird. But yeah, something I should mention is that even if you want to sell it, don't sell it right away at a Pokemart, because items that are made for the sole purpose of selling, such as star pieces, mushrooms, shards, stuff like that, there are going to be NPCs scattered throughout the game that will buy them from you for twice the usual cost. So, if you get some items like that, better hold on to them and wait until you've found those NPCs. Now we got some double grass here, and it has come to my attention that Pokemon that are found in this kind of grass has a much lower chance of being caught. Is there anything in here? Oh, I found a tiny mushroom by complete accident. But yeah, they have a much lower chance of being caught than they would regularly. I will come back to this at a later point in this LP, but for the time being, I'm just going to try and find a male Pidove, and I'll see you when I do. Okay, got one. Now, let's repeat the same maneuvers as last time. Oh wow, Metal Claw did a lot more damage than last time, and it used Growl, which is very convenient because now I might be able to use Rock Smash and have it live. Here we go, just barely. So let's throw an item. I think it's fun how it actually helped me catch it for a change. It basically never happens. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Pidove was caught. So now that that's done, I'm going to head back to Nakreen City and heal. I guess I could use a nurse here as well, but I'm gonna have to go back to the Pokemon Center anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna head back to the Pokemon Center to release that female Pidove that I caught last time. I didn't need it at all, and that was a major blunder on my part, error of inattention, I guess. So if anyone asks, when I went to catch a Pidove, everything went just fine. Nothing happened at all. Here we go. Female Pidove release. There we go. So now we're left with the male one. Excellent. So now that we're all prepped up, we can head to the gym that I told you to avoid like the plague earlier. Now, why did I tell you that? Because this happens. Yeah, that's right. You try to enter the gym, and for your trouble, you get ambushed by N. And now, as usual, he's going to start spewing lines that are no doubt meant to sound cool, but instead they sound creepy. Yeah, I don't think it matters whatever I answer there. So, this is going to be the second battle against N. And something that you're going to notice pretty quickly about N is that whenever you fight him, he uses Pokemon that are indigenous to the surrounding area. For example, he's got a Pidove that no doubt comes from Pinwheel Forest. About that, not only are the species the same as what can be found in the wild in the surrounding areas, but the levels as well. So basically, whenever you fight N, it's going to be sort of a gauntlet of wild Pokemon. N isn't a very fearsome trainer, except for a few exceptions that I'll point out later. However, this also means the fact that he's only using Pokemon from the nearby areas. This means that he gets rid of all his Pokemon between fights against him. So, as a result, that Purloin that we saw last time has been released into the wild. He always does this. Now, we're going to come across what can possibly be an exception later on in the game, because in one fight, he's got a Clink, and in the fight afterwards, he's got a Kling-Clang. But without going into spoilers, Black and White 2 establish without a shadow of a doubt that these are not, in fact, the same Pokemon, and that he released the Clink and got either a Kling-Clang in the wild somehow, or got another Clink and evolved it all the way to Kling-Clang, but doesn't matter. So yeah, what I just fought was basically a gauntlet of wild Pokemon, which is the reason why I didn't even bother commenting this fight. Can you imagine me commenting every fight, including freaking wild Pokemon? And N's parting words. Now I know what power I need. Reshiram. That's right, N is going to go after the legendary Pokemon Reshiram. It's my turn to become that hero, and you and I will be friends? What's the deal with him and friends? It's just disturbing. Good lord. Anyway, Nakreen City Gym, an archaeologist with backbone. Oh, I saw what you did there. This is the city of puns, I guess, after a pearl of a city. And by the way, don't worry, this isn't really the gym, this is just the Nakreen Museum. The gym is at the back of the museum. So, if we ever get a fossil, we should bring it to this woman here, and she's going to revive it for us. So, now we got this guy here staring at a Dragonite skeleton. He's Hawes, the assistant director. So, yeah, why not get a tour of the museum? Maybe there'll be something interesting to talk about. So, yeah, first we're going to be looking at the Dragonite skeleton. There's a theory that it had an accident while it was flying around the world, and so it became a fossil. What kind of accident causes a Pokemon to become a fossil? That kind of thing usually happens over millions of years, so it's got to be a pretty crazy accident. Anyway, there was a meteorite over there and an ordinary old stone. But other than the fact that it's old, it doesn't seem to have any value. You're just exposing things because they're old. Maybe I should send my grandpa to this museum. Maybe they would expose him. No, I wouldn't do that. I love my grandpa. But yeah, at the end of the gym, very strong and kind. Yeah, of course he's going to say that because she's his wife, but okay, he says the same thing. Now let's take a look at the exhibits in a bit more detail, because we didn't get to read the plates that came with them. The trash can was empty. Always worth looking into trash cans, just in case. An ancient round stone that was buried in the desert doesn't look to be that special. Perhaps there's a Pokemon that came from space along with this meteorite. A reference to Deoxys, maybe? A meteor that has a space virus attached to it. Yep! Definitely Deoxys. There is no room for interpretation there. It's a fossil of a Pokemon that was protected by a very hard shell. I don't really know. Maybe Kabuto? I don't know which one this could be, because the screen is actually rather small. Bones that were once carried as weapons by a certain kind of Pokemon. This has got to be Cubone and Marowak. Okay, now here we have a mask that ancient people used to wear at festivals. As long as it doesn't come from Termina, it can be exposed here for all I care, doesn't matter. Plate with an unknown script. This is probably a reference to the Arceus plates. Then again, maybe not. Maybe it's just a completely random plate with ancient scripts. But Anyway, this is, what was his name? Oh yeah, Clyde. I still can't get over the fact that they gave a name to this guy. Anyway, as I said before, he's gonna give you a fresh water at the entrance to each gym. So, this gym uses normal types, which are weak against fighting types, which is why they give you a lot of fighting types on the outskirts of Pinwheel Forest. So, the gym. In this Pokemon gym, if you answer questions hidden in books, you can move forward. So, for your information, the first book is Nice to Meet You Pokemon. So, let's head over to the bookshelves that are beyond and try to find Nice to Meet You Pokemon. But first, it's Underling time! So I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity to tell you, August 9th, you want to circle that date on your calendar, because just in case all the changes brought forward by Black and White 2 weren't enough for you, we're going to get an aftershock on August 9, because there's going to be this Pokédex-like book that's going to come out in Japan, and it's going to come with a serial code that will allow you to get Shadow Tag Gothorita on the global link. So that means that's right, we're going to have Shadow Gothitelle in the metagame in just over a month. And considering Litwick hasn't been found in the dream world yet, and it seems to become more and more unlikely by the day that it is there, it's going to be a pretty huge revolution. Of course, I don't think Gothitelle has what it takes to get banned, even with Shadow Tag. But still, if you enjoy a Shadow Tag less metagame, because let's face it, when was the last time you fought a Wobbuffet and overused? If you enjoyed that, then take it in, because it's only going to last one more month. The bookshelves for children's books are close to the entrance. Let's try this one. This is the bookshelf for children's book. Sweets for Pokemon, and nope. So I'm gonna go to this one instead. This is the bookshelf. Nice to meet you, Pokemon. This is what I want, so let's pay attention, because we're probably gonna be tested on that. Little boy who met a Pokemon for the first time in his life. He is with a small brown Pokemon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Patrat, but then again, maybe not. There's a memo between the pages. I'm the gym leader, Lenora. I hid 4 memos in this library. Each of them has a question. Of course I can! So just, lay it on me. What's the first question? What is the first Pokemon you met in this gym? Well, the answer is, of course, I don't need a hint! I know what it is, it's a Patrat! Anyway, a bookshelf in the middle row, there's one that's occupied, so it's gotta be the other one. This is the bookshelf for Pokemon, the biology of Patrat. Oh, okay, now I get it. And because Patrat is the one that the Underling had, so they communicate with each other by movement of their tails. Patrat raises its tail when it sees an enemy. Okay, so what's the question? There's a memo on the back cover. That question was easy, well, of course. Flame burns inside its body, and it gives off smoke from its head while it runs. What is this book? The hint is somebody may be reading it. Well, I don't know how she knows that, considering it always seems to change who's reading what in the library, but still. Flame burns inside its body and it gives off smoke. Oh, I get it! That's really clever! Yes, it is the correct answer. Flame burns inside its body and it gives off smoke from its head while it runs. That's really clever. They lead you to think it's a Pokemon, but then it's a locomotive. But of course, a gym can't be all about solving puzzles and answering questions. Of course, there's gotta be underlings thrown in the mix. And something that you might have noticed is that the female scientist sprite looks a lot like Fennel. I don't know if it's intended that way, probably, considering, I don't know, maybe a Fennel could be battled at one point in development, and then they decided to can it, much like Professor Oak in Red and Blue, for example. I remember showing you that fight. And by the way, we're fighting a Herdier right now. That's right, we're starting to encounter evolved Pokemon that belong to regular trainers. So yeah, we've reached that point where Pokemon around us are going to start to evolve. So there goes the second underling. So I think that's a fine time to call it a day. So next time on Let's Play Pokemon White, we're going to continue on in this gym and fight the normal type leader, Lenora.